Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Coblow'S Daily Therapy. I had to use a little bit of ingenuity. Had to use my mind, get my mind right, figure out how to get this message out. So I won't be able to do it live, but I figure I could record it. I could record it and still get it out there. I share it to this one page and then tag my other page, and maybe y'all can still get this work. So hopefully it works, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this and try. So, like I said, welcome to Coblow'S Daily Therapy, reading from The Fall of America, the book The Fall of America, by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm starting on chapter 36, and it is called Four Great Judgments of America. To be plagued with too much rain will destroy property and lives. It swells the rivers and creeks. Too much rain floods cities and towns. Large bodies of water at the ocean shorelines will be made to swell with unusually high waves, dumping billions of tons of water over the now short seashore line. Rain destroys property and kills cattle by drowning them in low lands. Rain destroys the hiding places of vicious beasts and reptiles, bringing them out of fighting in small towns and people's homes and farms. Rain weakens and destroys railroads, truck line beds, and bridges. Rain undermines foundations of all types of buildings. Rain makes the atmosphere too heavy with moisture, causing sickness. Wind with rain can bring destruction to towns and cities, bringing various germs, causing sickness to the people. It produces unclean water by the swelling of streams and destroying reservoirs of pure drinking water used for the death of the people. Rain is a destructive army within itself. Hailstones are also a property and life destroyer. Snow is of the most dreaded plague when it comes in great drifts from 5 to 35 feet. It buries your property and lives. It destroys your highways, your cities, and your concrete and gravel in towns and cities. It puts a great burden of expense upon the cities. It puts a great burden of expense upon the city to repair it. The cave-in of roofs of homes, the cutting off of homes, the cutting off of transportation, isolating areas, brings about starvation, and communication is destroyed with the icing of communication wires. Snow looks pretty because of its clean look. Almost everything of nature is beautiful, but it can be turned into death and destruction against man. Snow is prophesied to be one of the weapons that God will use against the wicked America. Job chapter 38, verse 22 and 23. Hell also is mentioned in the same two verses where God plainly tells us that he has preserved it against the time of trouble, against the day of the battle and war. The Holy Quran also teaches us that God used snow, rain, wind, hail, earthquakes, and fire against former wicked people. Is America any better than the people we read about in history that God destroyed? No, she is not as good. These people were not as wicked as the American people. Earthquakes can destroy towns and cities instantly. America is in the grip of divine judgment. America is in the position toward her once slave, so-called Negro, as Pharaoh was with Israel as his slave. She is in the position because of the injustice done to the American so-called Negro slave brought to America over 400 years ago and refuses to let them go free. They only say that you are free, knowing within that you are not able to leave them without anything. But the injustice continues to increase. Now they plan death. So this God was predicted by the prophets to come to the defense of this people, so-called Negroes, in the last days after they served the enemy for 400 years. The Bible declares to Abraham in Genesis that God would judge the people to whom his people, Abraham's, would be in bondage. This does not mean Israel. This means the present black people, the members of their black nation, who have and are fulfilling their prophecy. God in the person of Master Muhammad will not be defeated. The more evil, deceiving, tricking, and making of false promises to the American so-called Negro only increases America's divine chastisement doom. America knows that her trouble lies in her mistreatment of the black man, the so-called Negro, but she is too wicked to give up tricking the Negro and deceiving him on false promises. She just cannot stop. The opportunity is too open, and she thinks there is no one to hinder her. She's opportunistic. But God has chosen us to be his people, and he delights in fighting the enemy. According to the history of the former people, he delighted himself by going forth against them when they exceeded the limit. So it is with America. They must be separated. America will not agree to see the Negro separated from her until she has suffered divine punishment as Pharaoh suffered. The same thing that other evil nations suffered before them is now coming upon this people. She seeks to keep her slaves robbed of opportunity and wealth. She envies success coming to American Negro free slaves. She charges them high prices to keep them down. She deceives them through a few of what we call Uncle Toms, literally sambos, in the political circle, clergy class, and of all professional classes. She offers them little favoritism to help her work against their own people, the black people. But they too will suffer along with the enemy of justice of the poor so-called Negro. They must be separated. Envy and hatred are growing between the two people, regardless of their preachings of social integration. The truth must come. What is better than the program you find I have written? You two, black and white, cannot get along in peace since you never have gotten along in peace. Do you know why the white American does not like to talk with you about separation, and why he calls separation of the two people the wrong solution for peace between the people? He knows that it is promised and that God will do it. Then why do they not agree with separating themselves from you and me and we from them? Why are the black man and white man all over the earth now in disagreement with each other to live in peace? Do you know why? Oh, foolish American so-called Negro, seek some of this earth that you can call your own to live on in peace. Unite and ask the government for a portion of America. This is what we need. Somewhere to live to ourselves and let the white man live to himself. The two people are not brothers. They are alien to each other. God did not make them brothers to each other. I ask you, my brother and sister, to learn this and learn it quickly and fly for your life to the refuge of Allah. Come follow me. In chapter 37, America's land being divinely curtailed. In the Holy Quran, chapter 13, verse 41, see they not that we are visiting the land, curtailing it of its size. And hold on, let me read it. See they not that we are visiting the land, curtailing it of its size? And Allah pronounces a doom. There is no repealer of his decree, and he is swift in calling to account. Black man in America, there is no one as blind as you are in seeing what is going on against America. I have warned you for nearly 40 years that Allah, in the person of Master Father Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, came to me and gave me the knowledge of the truth, and I have been preaching it to you continually. Now you see what is going on. As America has done, so now it is being done unto her. America has surrounded the countries of other peoples. She has blown their cities to pieces, and she has killed their inhabitants. Those who were left alive she put to flight, running for shelter from the destruction by America's might. It is very sad and horrible to look at the things that America had done, which are now coming on this country. For many years, centuries of years, America has lived a luxurious, wicked life while hating her black slaves and depriving them of justice, shooting them down on the streets, on the highways, and in the woods and fields for nothing. She did it just because she felt that she had the advantage, and she wanted to kill black people as she was made to do. In the Bible, Psalms chapter 10, verse 8, he sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are set against the poor. Up until this very minute, she is seeking to destroy the black man in America and to deprive him of the freedom to do for self. America never desires the departure of the black slave from his white slave master. America wishes only to hold the black slave in order to continue to treat him with evil. Pharaoh's hatred and injustice to Israel in Egypt in the time of Moses should serve America as a warning, but she is falling headlong into the throes of the destruction of Allah. America runs to and fro seeking a way out, but she does not try to justify her black slave for justice and equality among the nations of the earth. America made us into nothing, and she used us to mock us before the nations of the earth. But a God with unlimited wisdom, knowledge, and power is now befriending the black slave, and he has chosen the black slave to be his people. But the foolish black people have yet to come into that knowledge that Allah is their best friend and that he is here to save them from the destruction of a people who have shown enmity and hatred to us all of our lives. America divided us one against the other. The black man in America is so divided against each other that you seek all of the time to do evil against each other. You cannot even befriend them lest they take advantage of it. They call you a fool for trying to befriend them, as it was with us by Midway Technical School. Midway Technical School came to us for help. We gave them that help to keep them from falling. It cost us $30,000 to set them free of their back rent and other bills that they had. Take a look at how they have turned on us for the purpose of wrecking all of the beautiful businesses set up for them and others to enjoy on the south side of Chicago, Illinois. Chapter 38, this will be it for today. The fall of America, foretold separation is the answer. The Holy Quran, chapter 81, verse 6, 7, and 12. And when the cities are set afire, and when men are united, and when the hell is kindled. The folding up is the title, taken from the first verse of that chapter in which the above verses are found. When the sun is folded up, Holy Quran, chapter 81, verse 1, symbolically prophesies the folding up of a recorded work, a record of what people have done as its use will no longer be necessary. This chapter refers to what takes place in the resurrection. One party is recorded as a beginning, while the other party is discontinued. We see this clearly being made manifest today. War causes the destruction of civilizations. Wars destroy the cities and towns of a nation. This chapter, 81, of the Holy Quran is now being fulfilled. The sun and the stars, mountains, camels, and wild animals are all mentioned metaphorically in the first 4 verses of this chapter and are not without significance. The coming of God referred to by the prophets is to unite a people who have been divided against self by their enemies. He chose these people for building a better world. The Bible's revelation refers to the destruction of the beast and his chief instructor, the dragon. The name beast given here is not referring to the 4-footed animals, but to a people whose rule is like that of a savage beast. Theologians, most of them from the time of Martin Luther, who I think was the author of these terms, beast and dragon, especially the late Pastor Russell and Judge Rutherford, founders of the Jehovah's Witness sect, take the term dragon to refer to the Pope of Rome and the father of the Christian church and the Christian religion. This is the first time since we have been lost in this part of the earth that we want to unite the black nations of the earth into one under the guidance of God who is now present. Why should the master come to deceive his slave? He teaches the slave that he is a free citizen with equality. Why do you slave masters want to hold them? For hostages? Pray. You do not need them. Your machines do the labor that the slaves used to do. Why not let them go? You want to go to war against Allah and the freedom that Allah came to do for your slaves. Before you, Pharaoh had the same idea. He did not want Israel to go free in the land to themselves. Pharaoh lost the war against Allah and was drowned in the Red Sea. The losers of this war will land in the lake of fire, not water. And if white America wanted to free her slaves, she could easily do so. This would be more simple and easier than what she is doing. killing and provoking them through police force, National Guards, and finally the U.S. Army, as we see in Detroit, Michigan. America's actions show us two things. Firstly, she wishes to cause fear among the so-called Negroes with the display of many deadly weapons, but Allah is removing the fear. Secondly, she fears to approach her unarmed slave unless she is armed. This has been the historical relation between the white man and his slave. The white man seeks the leadership of the so-called Negroes to help him keep the dissatisfied slaves subject to him without complaints about injustice. The white man's motto, "Nigger, you should be happy. You are better off than many of your black kind with the job." The white slave master brought our fathers here to do the slave work. Our free labor has made the white slave masters richer than their brethren, Europeans. Do they offer us any kind of this land that they took from the Indians? The 22 million so-called Negroes should be seeking some of this earth on which to live and build an independent nation out of self. The white master only offers us a job. Don't be so thankful for a job. Allah, God, has come in the persons of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever, to free us. The Negro slave must be freed. This is the meaning of the resurrection. I knew it, that's what it meant. Allah, God, has said to Elijah Muhammad that he intends to free the American so-called Negro at any price. For 400 years, you, slave master, have been killing the so-called Negro without receiving any resistance and regardless of his peaceful way with you. We, the Muslims, have tried to live in peace here in America. There is not a single incident in our 36 years of history where we have ever made an aggressive move against you, but you have attacked us several times. We have proved to the world that you are impossible to live with in peace. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. James chapter 5, verse 6. You have destroyed many towns, cities, and people. As thou have divided the so-called Negro, one against the other, so Allah shall divide you and your brethren. As you have done to others, so shall it be done to thee. That's the Bible. When the cities are set on fire, this is a sign of the end of you as a power. I can get one more in, and then I call it a day. Chapter 39. The house doomed to fail. We cannot deny the fact that the Christian West is responsible for this universal corruption in the land and sea. That's even with pollution and contamination. If you think about it, Western man and European has even tainted the sea. That's bad business. Animals are in danger. Sea animals, sharks and whales and sea turtles are in danger because of the Western man. The Christian West. From the same corruption that their own hands have wrought will come their doom, pollution. The Christians preach that which they do not do and cannot do, such as love thy neighbor. They don't practice what they preach. I have as yet to meet one who loves his neighbor as he did himself. Thou shalt not kill. I have yet to meet such a Christian. They even fight against each other, rob and kill each other, but yet represent themselves as world peacemakers. With whom? The great deceivers of the world will reap what they have sown. Have they not corrupted many people and nations under the guise of good, peaceful, loving Christians? The Christian West is full of the worst crimes, practicing evils and indecencies to the fullest and seeking to practice them on other nations as well. They want to taint people, other nations, which they have. That's why people hate Western culture, because they tainted their cultures. Universal tempters are ever parading before the world their bold half-nude girls and women. They are before your eyes in almost everything. Murder, gambling, robbery, drunkenness, drugs, adultery, lying. There's hardly any end to it. Their land and seas are filled with deadly weapons of war. Their islands of the sea are filled with corruption by all the nations of earth, for they are proud and boastful and are now hated and despised according to their wishes. Their religion, Christianity, is a curse to us, the black man, and is full of slavery teaching. They have poisoned the Bible with their adding to and taking from the truth. Now their doom is in sight. It is their own work. They command the sea with their powerful navies, parking them off the shores of other nations. They secure air bases on their soils to place their deadly bomb, carrying planes within easy striking distances of those whom they fear to be their enemies. Is this not the easy way to make enemies? Is this the act of a real Christian? The followers of Jesus, whom they preach came for the peace of mankind and to teach the sheltering of the sword and the turning of the other cheek, the sheathing of the sword? Where is a good Christian among this race? They love meddling in other people's affairs. They are in every fight or war. It matters not with whom or where, but yet crying, peace, peace, with every deadly weapon of war to provoke other nations to war. Shall not the God of peace and justice deal with you and your troublemaking as he did with those before you? I warn every one of you, my people, fly to Allah with me for refuge. As I warned you, the judgment of the world has arrived. Get out of there, slave, making Christianity and into the right religion, Islam. The house you are in shall surely fall and never rise again. That was a deep one now. That was a deep one. No, I almost don't want to stop, man. I want to keep going. But I'm going to go ahead and fall back. I'm going to fall back. I done gave y'all 20 minutes of this work. I'm recording it. I got much more to go, so it ain't got the end. I kick back off tomorrow. Then I done spent a couple of raindrops, so I'll start back tomorrow on chapter 39 with the house doomed to fail. Oh, no, I just read that one, didn't I? Yeah, I just read that one. I'll be on chapter 40 tomorrow, the destruction and fall. Let me thank y'all for tuning in. When I post this recorded video, this is my first time doing it like this. I couldn't play the music in the background because I'm recording it off my regular phone. If I would have been live, it could have played music or whatever. I really hate not doing it live, but you know, I got used to doing it live and I wouldn't really communicate with anybody. So, you know, it really wasn't a reason to do it live. Maybe just for the entertainment purposes or whatever, or the interaction of me reading it at that time. But I almost crashed out. I almost said I wasn't going to do it, but I decided to go ahead and do it. I went ahead and did it. I had to think about it because I think when I first started doing it, I was recording it and put it up anyway. Yeah, I couldn't go live, come to think of it. So now I'm still going to keep it going. I'm going to keep on pushing. That's called resilience. Thank y'all for tuning in. I want y'all to share this. Share this because we need this. Like I said, I'm not trying to convert anybody to any religion. I'm just trying to alert everybody to all of those people that we need to know to get us further ahead in the progress of our culture and our race. For all humanity. Peace. It's Coco, baby. Coblow.